Tupelo National.
Hour and a half.
Ah, yes, indeed, it's that time again. Yes, I'm joined by my two other weekend warriors, and of course we've got that crazy music. Everyone loves the weekend music, right? Oh, boys, what are you doing to me?
People love it. People in the chat are loving it.
It's good stuff. And by the way, Ange apologizes. She didn't realize I wasn't muted.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We know that you were getting you need reprimanding, Joe. I'm just glad that Ange is there to keep you in check. I really am, dude. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So,
Yeah.
welcome to our weekend weirdness, and boy, oh boy, have we got a lot of weird for
We
you
got a lot of
today.
weird
We got a
stuff.
lot of weird
Oh,
going on. And you know, as the 1 year comes to an end, we take a look back, we reflect on things, and also being the weekend, well, it just wouldn't be the weekend if we didn't get a little bit weird ourselves. Only, we're not the ones providing the weird this week, are we, Joe? We've got a plethora, no, what is it you call it, a smorgasbord of things to laugh at as the stream progresses.
You could say that. I would say that it would be like a crescendo effect, if you will. That's
Yeah.
the best way I can put it. Yes.
You think so? It's almost like the money
I do.
shot at the end, Scott, right?
A cornucopia, if you will.
Oh, nice. I need to be taking a note of all these words for when I play Scrabble with my mum. Definitely stand me in good stead, that's for sure. But how you doing, Joe? Not seen you for a while, man.
Yeah, sick as a dog, feeling like crap, but here nonetheless for you, man, for you.
Oh,
man.
thanks, Joe. Thanks. Nothing like making me feel guilty or anything, you know?
Totally, completely guilty, you bastard.
You know, Scott, that's the thanks we get. You know, last night we were like that, Joe, just you take a night off, brother. You go and chill out, and this is the thanks we get. You know what
Yes,
I say?
that's
You know what I say?
absolutely the thanks
You know
you
what
get.
I say? He is penis. Yes, indeed. That's exactly. Let me see.
How long did it take for him to get that? You knew he was going to use it, Scotty. You knew it was going to happen.
I actually
So,
played
well,
it.
might as well
when
have
we did the-
forced it at this point.
Yeah, well, when we did the stream yesterday and Kev was still trying to work out, how to use the software, everything, I noticed he fell into that whole sampling thing pretty quickly. He's like, oh, this is what happens when you give Kev toys to play with. So
Yeah.
No idea how to get myself sounding good, but the sampling and it's
Oh
almost
yeah, you
like
got that straight.
it's almost like this sampler might have some form of digital Tourette's. I don't know what's going on with it. Penis. See, you can't control it, dude. Can't control it. So yes, plenty to get into tonight, folks. And before we get there, please, 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 if you want to support the channel, and we will love you long time. Oh, yes, indeed. Please consider becoming a member. All I want for Christmas is you. Yes, indeed. Hit the join button below, and you can be part of our very, very elite club. And every Sunday, you can come with us into the VIP lounge. Indeed. And not only that, but you get your own Alex Jones emoji. Nice. Hashtag Mangina Fund.
Feel free to contribute to the Mangina Fund.
Yes. Yes. Even Manginas need loving at Christmas, Joe. Yeah, and he's muted up.
No, I know I am.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, you didn't know you were, though. You didn't know you were. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I started talking while my mouse was still en route to the unmute function.
Indeed.
Yes,
Indeed.
yes, indeed, yes.
And there's going to be so much laughter and jocularity as we progress in this stream. But where do we start, Joe? What one are you going to kick us off with? Because you provided me with, there was one looking back at the decade science. There was also one with UFOs. Let's go UFOs early, man. Let's do it. Come on.
All right, I agree with you. So I think this one is New York Post. And I got to agree with them right off the bat. It has been a hell of a year for UFOs. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last any sort of year since I've been doing this that UFO sightings have been so prevalent and so credible. I mean, look at the footage coming out now of these things. It's pretty remarkable. They recently came out with another article today. You know about that tic-tac-toe thing that the USS Nimitz pilots had seen, and it was extremely maneuverable, and they couldn't figure out what it was. Well, now there's another article that came out that said, oh, by the way, that was just a cover story, that it's really our technology, and that we were using it, but they said, they went with this whole idea or concept of disclosure to cover the fact that it was ours and our secret technology.
Yeah, because I was covering a story just the other week there from John Greenwald, and it was the Black Vault. And John's somebody who I really, really respect because he doesn't work off speculation. He goes to the Pentagon, he goes to the DOD, he gets the Freedom of Information requests in, and he gets the documents. And it was weird because we had the Pentagon coming out confirming the ATIP program, first of all. But then, you know, despite them saying UAPs, yes, we look at them, just last week they turned around and said, well, see Luis Elizondo, he was never anything to do with this thing that he's talking about. And it was never anything to do with aliens anyway. It was just foreign craft, and not alien craft, but foreign technology.
No, absolutely. And even so, there's still quite a few, I'd say credible, to say the least, sightings that remain unexplained. And a lot of them happening now this year. And it said once thought to be fictional works used to sell tabloids. 2019's been awash with news of UFOs, aliens, and strange phenomenon, including reports complete with video from verifiably sane sources. That's what's so crazy about all this, Kev, is that this year you've actually got credible people coming forward and saying, holy crap, not only do I agree with this, but I've actually seen it, and oh, by the way, here's the footage.
No, that's good, but Scott, I think one of the things we kind of raised a red flag about early on was where this information was coming from, namely the characters behind the scenes at TTSA. I attribute none of the blame to Tom DeLonge in this. I think he's been used as a useful idiot, as they say in espionage. But we were very kind of quick to point out to people that it could mean something and it might not mean something. But these people in the board, their national security advisor and things like that, what does a disclosure company need that for? And why all the Hal Puthoffs and Christopher Mellon and all these other, you know, deep state insiders, because that's what they are, Scott, they're career politicians and espionage people. And how can we trust that, you know?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, while I do agree that we have seen a pickup in like UFO activity and stuff like
Yep.
that,
Yep.
like Joe was mentioning, there's something is going on. But on top of it, you have this overlay of the government coming out and trying to do this like soft disclosure thing, or where it once was something that was crazy and kooky to talk about, all of a sudden you saw this 180 and the media and everyone coming out
Yeah,
saying,
like a
"Oh,
general acceptance of it, Scott.
yeah," and that's where it's weird. Why all of a sudden the 180? What's really behind that? Because
Do you think it might be the increased video evidence that is flooding the airwaves now and the video streams into YouTube's? Like, for example, UFO stories really never got mainstream exposure, I'd say, until like Drudge Report started running stories like, pardon me, like the Daily Star and Daily Mail and other sites that ran more, UFO type material. And then once it started running that stuff and people started watching it, it's like, oh wow, look, Drudge is running it. Maybe now I can come out of the closet and kind of show my support for something that I've always shown interest in, but was too scared to talk about it because for fear of being called batshit crazy. So you've got a lot of people now coming out of the UFO closet and
Well,
doing that. Plus, like I said, you've got more video evidence this year, I think, that have come out than in prior years.
well, think
Just
of
in
it
my
this way,
humble
right?
opinion.
Think of it this way. You had Ms. Clinton, who was very, very, on the surface, interested in the UFOs, the UFO file, as they call it. She'd been pictured with, I think it was one of the Rockefellers, and it was a book all about disclosure. She was obviously very friendly with John Podesta, part of our campaign team, and he's obviously now over there on Ancient Aliens again, part of
Doesn't
this.
he? Doesn't he
But
talk
wait,
to them?
but you see, this is, think about it this way, Joe, because behind the scenes somewhere, I think, and other people who talk about this as well, dark journalists, other people, it's almost as if Hillary was meant to win. We know that, okay? And when she was going to come in, there was going to be this rollout of the information that we're seeing right now. Like
Okay.
everything we're seeing right now would have been rolled out, but almost only with Hillary's glowing endorsement. Now, what that means, why they were going to do that, I don't know. More money for all the military-industrial complex companies, probably. But she didn't win. But somewhere in a room somewhere, they decided, well, it doesn't matter because now's the time that we're going to play this card, or we're going to do this, and this information is going to come out for whatever reason. And they've still maintained that timeline despite their figurehead, their face of their disclosure not being there.
And you can't have a total 180 done by the media and everybody like that without something like some kind of order coming from the top. You know what I mean? Saying, okay, this is the direction we're going to go when we cover this topic or when we talk about it.
There seems to be a much more, there's much more public acceptance of it now than there was in prior years.
And I think that is why they can roll this out. That is exactly why that is exactly why they can do this 180, and the public would be like, oh, okay, we've been watching Ancient Aliens on TV for like what, over 15 years now. I mean, that's
Sure.
quite a few years of bombarding the public with that information, right? Now take that for what you will. I mean, was Ancient Aliens a sort of prepping sort of the campaign, for the public to, get them all into that information and get them accepting that information? Maybe, I don't know. But the thing is that we've seen this shift and we've seen this sort of flip from the UFO topic being this fringe, crazy, kooky topic to all of a sudden now you got CNN, they were actually probably one of the first outlets, right? CNN to push all of this stuff with the Pentagon
Wall Street
program.
Journal as well. But add to that, Scott,
Yeah.
right? You had the ancient alien phase, okay? And then you had Podesta again coming in. A lot of people that
Yeah.
were regular speakers on there, for whatever reason, they decided it wasn't for them anymore. And now look what's happened on History Channel. There's a new team on the block, and they're making a whole heap of new programs about disclosure. And do you
Yeah,
know who's
yeah.
behind all of these programs? It's only to the Stars Academy and their poster boy, Luis Elizondo,
Oh, what do you
and
know?
the same
Yeah.
CIA cats that we've been pointing out that are almost moving on to the block, The same
Yeah,
people.
very much so.
It's weird. It's weird, Joe.
It is weird. So,
It-
go ahead,
Oh, go
Scotty.
ahead. Well, I was gonna say, are we looking at maybe the co-opting of ufology?
You could
By
be seeing that,
the-
yeah. By
You
the
know, and-
intelligence complex, by the
Yeah, by the intelligence
politicians.
No,
You
we're
know,
getting towards the
shadow-
last card. We're getting towards the last card. You have to start
Absolutely.
building the threat.
But
That's
isn't
right.
that how they left off the X-Files and stuff that one season? You remember? I mean, that's kind of how they left it off too. It was just that. It was like a government craft, that came down. So that triangular
So
craft.
it could be that. Maybe they're ready to roll out some of the secret tech that they may have or may not have.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Could be that. Who knows?
Listen to this. According to the National UFO Reporting Center, on September 21st in Gallipolis, Ohio, a husband, former law enforcement, and wife, a scientist, were, while sitting outside their recreational vehicle at a public campsite, witnessed a very, very bright light approach their campsite from the south in an erratic manner, appearing to slow or stop on several occasions as it drew near. It got within 50 yards, they estimate, of their campsite, at which time, out of sense of alarm, the husband reached for his .45 caliber sidearm, but he felt unable to use his arm or lift the firearm. The object, estimated by the witnesses to be approximately 20 feet in diameter, hovered nearby for approximately 8 seconds and then suddenly accelerated towards the west and disappeared very quickly to the west. Meanwhile, on September 1st in Taos, New Mexico, 3 elk hunters allegedly witnessed 2 alien creatures standing upright on a nearby hilltop. The next day, 2 of them returned to the same area to look for evidence, and they allegedly witnessed an unusual-looking craft resting on the ground. Closer to home, on August 12th, on New Jersey the New Jersey Garden State Parkway near exit 38B by Atlantic City, and that right there says more than you can possibly know. A husband and wife were driving north on the New Jersey Garden State Parkway when their attention was drawn to 2 peculiar white lights that appeared to be approaching their location. Suddenly, they realized that the lights were affixed to a very large triangular craft, which maneuvered to above the highway and hovered. The witnesses could see windows on the top of the craft from which light appeared to emanate. Traffic was passing underneath the craft. If you're worried about your home state, it says here, a handy UFO hotspot infographic was created by satelliteinternet.com, which shows states with the most alien activity. Wow.
There it is there. Yeah.
There it
Texas
is.
has
Washington.
got a lot of cow mutilations and abductions. Imagine abducting a cow. Pretty mad.
Yeah, it
So-
says here, according to infographic, aliens apparently prefer colder climates as UFO hotspots, including Washington State, the home of the National UFO Reporting Center, Montana, and Vermont. Alaska and Maine are also popular states for alien encounters. The states with the least alien activities are Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama. Despite former President Jimmy Carter logging an official report with the International UFO Bureau in 1969, claiming he had seen a self-illuminated, multicolored UFO before giving a speech at the Lions Club in Leary, Georgia. So there you go.
So
Very
do you think that there is something more to the UFO news we're getting now. It's not just a case of, well, you know, it's time to tell everyone what we've got. There's more to it, right? Or am I overthinking it?
No. I'm with you on this, Kev. There's more to it, but I can't quite put my finger on exactly what this more to it is, though. You know what I mean? Like, I can't give an answer on why they're doing it right now.
Same.
You know, that's more of the, but I just know that they didn't just decide that they're going to do a 180 for no reason. You know what I mean? After, you know, decades of calling anybody who discussed UFOs, you know, batshit crazy, all of a sudden to just turn around and be like, oh, well, you know, this seems like a very credible thing, and the Pentagon was researching it, and, you know, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know what the underlying agenda is, but there's something fishy going on with all this, no doubt.
Always something fishy.
And hey, I mean, and there are still actual legit weird incidents.
Absolutely. I was going to say what it could be is a multiple or a multitude of agendas that basically take advantage of these things, right? But or these events.
Yeah, you never let a good crisis go to waste, right?
Right. So you don't have just one going on. You probably got a multitude, you know?
Yeah. It's a wide, varying array of things going on. Like, I'm sure there are an increase in UFO sightings. I'm sure there are, you know, a lot of credible people out there who have witnessed these things. I mean, I've had UFO sightings, right? I've seen UFOs a couple of years ago. You know, we all witnessed it in my front yard. You know, so these things are occurring. But what is the reason for the push behind the 180 all of a sudden? You know, and is this maybe a cover for some of the black technology that we're testing? You know, did the Navy, or, you know, some of this footage that they got out, were they witnessing maybe some test aircraft? You know, like, because you know how compartmentalized the military is. You know, one area of the military can be testing something, and then like some pilots or something from the Navy would have no idea that there's another that there's a test going on or whatever. So maybe they witnessed something, maybe they caught it on camera, and you know, they filed their report or whatever, and then higher up the branches are like, oh, you guys witnessed something you guys weren't supposed to be witnessing, you know, and we got to kind of run cover for this. So, let's just say they witnessed a UFO. They couldn't explain it or whatever. You know, I don't know. But it's just weird. The whole response to all of this, and just all of this coming out in the media recently, just, it has rubbed me wrong. I don't. Right off the bat, I was like, this isn't right. Something seems weird about all this.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go there. Why not? I am going to.
Good morning. My name is Carol Rosen. In 1974, after being a sixth grade school teacher, I was introduced to the late Dr. Werner von Braun in the U.S., the father of rocketry. In my first meeting with him, during that first 3.5 hours, he said to me, Carol, you will stop the weaponization of space. And I said, you know, teachers don't stop until...
How about that then, Joe? Maybe all of this going towards justification for big money going to Space Force?
It keeps people employed, right? There's a lot of people that depend on that kind of stuff.
And it's a new branch of the military, you know, I mean...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, now more than ever. More than ever with the creation of Space Force, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Till June, he said, no, you have to understand, this is February, and we have to prevent the weaponization of space because there is a lie being told to everyone that the weaponization of space is now first being based upon the evil empire, the Russians.
Check.
There are many enemies, he said, against whom we're going to build this space-based weapon system, the first of whom was the Russians, which...
check.
was existing at that time. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be third world countries. Now we call them rogue nations or nations of concern. Then there would be asteroids.
Ah, yes. Back to my asteroid
Now, have
card.
we had the asteroid thing?
Well, this is what I've been saying to you, is it not? Recently, that I feel that this could be the phase that we're entering, because along with the aliens, there's been a lot more asteroid talk as well.
There have been. I was just going to say that. And it's interesting you say that, because at the same time, I've also been seeing a lot of, or an increased attention on the magnetic field weakening too. There's been a lot of stories in the media about that.
We had birds dying off the other day, Joe. Big bird die off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how it prevents cosmic rays from entering our solar system. You know, the heliosphere basically is a macro version of what our magnetic field is with the Earth, and what's happening with our magnetic field is happening with the sun and its magnetic field. So everything's weakening. And as a result, there's been an increase in cosmic rays, and also in these meteors and things like that. So, or what do they call them? Near Earth objects?
Yeah. Well, I was listening to Clyde Lewis, Scott. It was a show he done last night or the night before, and I had no idea about this, okay? But remember the sinkholes that we had over in Siberia, guys?
Oh, man, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
seemingly, I'll need to check this out, because I only listened to the first kind of maybe 45 minutes. But off the Oregon coast, as in the Cascadia kind of subduction zone, they're finding large holes off California as well. And what Clyde was talking about was the potential for methane to be coming up from these things, you know? So I wasn't sure if you'd heard of it, Scott. It was new to me. Ron Patton had actually asked me, do I know anyone that could talk to it? And I had to admit to him, that's the first I've heard of it, Ron.
I had seen something about this come through my news feed the other day.
I'll try and dig it up somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't look too much into it, but the first thing I thought was, well, that probably means the plates are starting to shift, and you're starting to see a lot of surface collapse. You know,
It's California. Sorry, guys, California.
Okay, well, I mean, same thing. I mean, we're talking about an area of tectonic, plates rubbing together, in these areas where these fault lines.
Oh wow, that's recent, huh, Kev?
Yeah, it's only a few days ago, guys. A couple of days ago, 3 days.
Oh, what I was thinking was that maybe a lot of this pressure that's built up on these fault lines are causing some of these methane releases in the ocean, right? It's causing breaches and collapses, and then it releases methane. So
check that out, Scott. Check that. Thousands of strange round holes, thousands, scooped out of the ocean floor, have been discovered along the California or the coast of California. Measure.
Wait. So it appears that these were deliberately created.
Well, I heard somebody phoning into Clyde and saying that he thought it could be building companies going and getting sand. I'm just repeating what that caller said.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's a plausible.
It was an act. Joe, you're muted as well.
I was just gonna say that to me would be very plausible.
Okay.
That they would do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, it could be that then. It might be nothing really to worry about then, 'cause it says some measure nearly 600 feet across. But scientists.
Well, no, because I've heard here in the States that there's a sand shortage.
Well, there you go then. That does make sense then, you're right.
Yeah, it has to do with the the amount of building materials with the last boom that went on, and the fact that there was an increased need for sand, also with erosion being an issue. So it would make more sense, if you ask me, if they're trying to fill the beaches with sand by taking a barge out there and
Yeah, I was
basically
about to say
taking the
with all
sand
of that.
up, putting it on, and then building up the beaches with it. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, with all of the shore erosion that has occurred over the past couple of years, with all these hurricanes and stuff that have
Yeah.
Yeah,
slammed into the,
yeah.
a lot of these beaches need to, in order to bring them tourists back and all of that, they got to replenish the sand along those beaches.
Right.
So
You have no
I-
idea how much that beach erosion happens when you
oh
have a
man,
hurricane or something like that. It
Yeah.
it really tears it up. When we lived in Hampton Roads and we would get a hurricane, I mean, they would put, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of dump trucks of sand out there, and it would be gone, absolutely gone, and right up to the boardwalk, hardly any beach left. You know, and a good tropical storm would do it too. And the just the replenishment, just massive and unbelievable amounts of sand was needed to replenish that one area. And then you think about, wow, when these hurricanes break the coast, you're talking about having that much replenishment across a large portion of the East Coast. That's a tremendous amount of sand that you need. So yeah, I could definitely see, them going out to sea and then scooping it from the floor and then bringing it back and then putting it there.
and
I
then
could
and
definitely
then
see
on
it.
top of that, we also have countries and stuff like China. I don't know. We're talking about off the coast of California, so probably it wouldn't be China or anything. But they've been known to build artificial islands.
Yeah.
And you got to get that. You've got to get that building material from somewhere, right?
But do you
Or,
think
hey,
it's
what if-
Chinese subs coming in and scooping it out, dude? just for cheap.
Sandgate.
Sandgate. Everything's a gate nowadays, isn't it? Everything's a
Yeah.
bloody gate.
Yeah, but hey, who's to say it wasn't the military scooping up the sand? Military could be creating an artificial island somewhere too. Yeah, but
They're also saying that it could be us. It could be humans and marine trash that's partly responsible for it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, like, maybe not now so much, but certainly back in the day, when we were out to sea, the first two deployments, once you got out past 100 miles, you just threw your trash overboard.
Yeah.
That was it. And then it went down to the bottom, and who knows? Who cares? You forgot about it. Well, now they don't do that anymore. Now you hold all the trash on board the ship, and they have incinerators, and then whatever they can incinerate, then they'll take off when they leave, when they hit a port. But for 100 years or so, that's all we did is you threw it over the side.
I must
Big deal.
admit, guys, I'm really glad that you guys knew about this, because when I first heard about it, I was quite concerned. I'm thinking, if that's like methane deposits or something, that's like Swiss cheese,
It could be.
but
It would be
could
kind of
be.
serious, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm
don't
not
think
taking
so.
that off the table. Well, I'm not taking that off the table though either,
I'm
because we
not
are
either,
talking.
but it's just I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah,
No. But at least no, good. I like that. We throw out the logical and the potential for booga booga apocalyptic news. So Joe, science, big year for science this year. We had the pig. What was it? The pig monkey chimera just recently. Over in China. We've had, what else have we had? We've had a lot of science happening. We had that potential fifth new force of nature being
Yep.
discovered,
Oh
the,
yeah, that was
the
a big one.
X-17. And I think you've got a story about the decade. Now, when you start thinking about the decade, you have to throw in things like LIGO, CRISPR.
Oh man, there's so much.
Let's
right?
take a look, dude. Let's take a look.
So you got some of the what's this? The top 20 of the decades, 2010 to 2019 or 2020 here, and it says here detecting the first gravitational waves. In 1916, Albert Einstein proposed that when objects with enough mass accelerate, they can sometimes create waves that move through the fabric of space and time like ripples on the pond's surface. Though Einstein later doubted their existence, these space-time wrinkles called gravitational waves are a key prediction of relativity, and the search for them captivated researchers for decades. Though compelling hints of the waves first emerged in the 1970s, nobody directly detected them until 2015, when the US-based observatory LIGO felt the aftershock of a distant collision between two black holes. The discovery, announced in 2016, opened a new way to hear the cosmos. In 2017, LIGO and the European Observatory Virgo felt another set of tremors, this time when two ultra-dense objects called neutron stars collided. Telescopes around the world saw the related explosion, making the event the first ever observed in both light and gravitational waves. The landmark data had given scientists an unprecedented look at how gravity works and how elements such as gold and silver form. Then let's see here. We have shaking up.
There though, I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
you know how I often kind of like criticize gravity and all that. But that experiment, the way
absolutely.
they went about like setting that up, the machinery and everything else.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, dude, it's something. I used to joke with Brendan Drackler that, and Brian Keating as well. They know the guys that were down there and the women as well and whatever else were down there. But they were saying, or I would say to them, could it not just be like a butterfly taking off from a leaf somewhere? Because I was basically having a laugh at how sensitive this equipment is and how much shield.
Unbelievably
Yeah,
sensitive.
it's crazy, dude. I mean, picking up signals from two neutron stars, billions of light years. And I know people will say, it's all bunk. But I got to take it at face value, you know, and, well, it is what it is. I think they detected something. I still don't think gravity's all that we think it is. I think we need a better explanation.
I think there's alternative ways of describing it, much like there's different languages to describe the same thing, right?
Exactly, Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the whole thing with the how it helps them understand how gold and silver are created. I mean, it's just very interesting that they kind of within this study, detecting gravity waves and all of that stuff, that it also helps them understand how gold and silver are created. Are they going to start replicating gold and silver?
You know, modern day scientists are all alchemists, Scott. You know that. So, Joe, we're going to take about 2 or 3 of these stories. Say was going through all 20. What one do you think next? What one are we going to go for next? And you're muted up like a good.
Thank you. How about entering the CRISPR era?
Ooh.
Yeah. The 2010s marked huge advances in our ability to precisely edit DNA, in large part thanks to the identification of the CRISPR-Cas9 system. Some bacteria naturally uses CRISPR-Cas9 as an immune system, since it lets them store snippets of viral DNA, recognize any future matching virus, and then cut the virus DNA to ribbons. In 2012, researchers proposed that CRISPR-Cas9 could be used as a powerful genetic editing tool, since it precisely cuts DNA in the way scientists can easily customize. Within months, other teams confirmed that the technique worked on human DNA. Ever since, labs all over the world have raced to identify similar systems to modify CRISPR-Cas9 to make it even more precise and to experiment with its applications in agriculture and medicine. While CRISPR-Cas9's possible benefits are huge, the ethical quandaries it poses are also staggering. To the horror of the global medical community, Chinese researcher He Jiankui announced in 2018 the birth of 2 girls whose genomes he had edited with CRISPR, the first humans born with heritable edits to their DNA. The announcement sparked calls for the global moratorium on heritable germline edits in humans. So that one I picked because that has profound effects, not just on our ability to cure diseases, but also to be used as a weapon and to also be used as a eugenics tool. You know, if you think about it, there's so much you can do with CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology.
Yeah, that is definitely one of them scientific breakthroughs that are like, whoa, that uh I would say is kind of on the level of like nuclear weapons in a way, with those kind of
Absolutely, that kind
ramifications.
of devastating, um, like almost like that mutually assured destruction type of catastrophe level.
And add into
Yeah,
the catastrophe level, Scott, they make it so cheap for people to do it at home, biohackers.
yeah, so then you see the proliferation of the technology as well. It's out there in the wild now, right? Where same with like nuclear weapons. If a country is able to get enough money and build enough, centrifuges, and hey, maybe they can get something going. But this is even more there's even more proliferation with this DNA, this CRISPR technology than I would say even nuclear weapons, right? Because like you said, yeah, it's so cheap. People can do this stuff in their basement. And when you're playing with the genome, when you're playing with DNA, I mean, so many things can go wrong,
Scott, I
right?
equate it to hacking in to the kind of kernel of Windows or your operating system or something, and starting to play about with the code in there. And sure, you know what? Sometimes you might even actually tweak something good, but give it a couple of weeks, and that knock-on effect, and over time, oh dear. And then think of that in the human body, generationally. We have no idea what we're letting out of Pandora's box for this one, Scott. And I get it.
It's
There's good benefits.
it's source. Yes, but what it seems like to me, looking at it from a coder's perspective, is it's source code that you were not meant to be editing or playing around with, right?
It's read-only. DNA should be read-only. You should not be able to open
I
this
would
file.
have to say you are absolutely right. There has to be some sort of encryption
Yeah.
that's thrown in there on your DNA. That's just, you should have the key to it and no one else.
And look at
And even then, you should
look at
probably be
Craig Venter. He's actually got his name in there.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Big time.
He's okay. So we got one more. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
The last one, tracking down the Higgs boson.
Oh, indeed.
And it says here, how does matter get mass? In the 1960s and 70s, physicists, including Peter Higgs and Francois Englert, proposed a solution in the form of a novel energy field that permeates a universe called the Higgs field. This theorized field also came with its associated fundamental particle, what's now called the Higgs boson. And July 12, a decade-long search ended when two teams at CERN's Large Hadron Collider announced the detection of the Higgs boson. The discovery filled in the last missing piece of the Standard Model, the spectacularly successful, albeit incomplete, theory that describes 3 of the 4 fundamental forces in physics and all known elementary particles.
And here we are on the cusp of we're at least entertaining the idea of a 5th force.
Of a 5th.
Yep.
So
and Joe, listen, let's think of it, right?
Yeah.
Just because we've discovered 4, let's not even go for the 5, right? Just because we've discovered 4, we seem to have this arrogance about us that, oh well, we've got it under control then. That would be like going to the ocean, finding 4 fish, and saying, done it, nailed it. We know, we've got this ocean sussed, man. We've got the species sussed. We've got everything sussed. Nothing else to know.
We found these 4 fish. These are the only 4 fish that exist in the ocean.
And no anyone else that tells you there's any other fish, they're lying. They're pseudo fishermen. They're not
Even
lying.
if there are other fish, they're all the same.
There are. You know what they are? They're a penis. I had to one last time. I couldn't think if we'd maybe get it in again. Although with the family albums we're going to, Joe, perhaps. But may I pose you one question, CERN related, Higgs boson? I'm seeing a lot more talk from people, and I must admit, when I first seen this and heard this being spoken about, I reacted kind of negatively. I thought, how could that even be the case? And I still don't know how it could physically be the case. But 2012, CERN, calendars of Mayans, discovering things, opening portals.
Yeah.
Some people think that the world ended in 2012. Now, I don't know how that would equate to where we are now, but then when I look at the world now, it's a hell of a lot stranger than it was. You could
I will
definitely look
say-
at pre-2012 and post-2012, right?
Yeah. Oh, I can. And I could say unfathomably lighter and then after darker. No doubt.
And weirder, and
No
weirder.
doubt. Yeah, and weirder. Absolutely. Yep.
Remember
But-
Terence McKenna used to talk about that novelty factor? I know he got the timeline zero thing. They say he got it wrong because it ended in 2012. But isn't that novelty now? Things that you'd never have thought about before, things that are so weird you'd never...
But I wonder, are we creating that though are we finding convenient information to fit that narrative?
That I was just about to say, is this a case of kind of like confirmation bias?
Yeah,
or-
that's
or
the only
something like that?
problem I have with something like that.
Because I can also point out another day or another time when things changed. or
Okay,
when it
but
seemed
did
like-
men ever claim to be having babies? And did 2 and 2 ever equal 5 and not be wrong?
True, but Kev, think about a timeline that existed before a certain day in September 2001 and a timeline after a certain day in 2001.
Yeah, you see, I look at 2001 to 2012 as a bit of a weird time. And I know that they say the tribulation's 7 years. I don't know, it just feels like that was a unique time. Like you said, well, Scott, that was a different time because there was
That was a very, very
Yeah.
weird time.
Yeah.
And it was completely different than before. That's why they call it.
but that's a level of difference that doesn't compute with people actively calling other people out for not being insane, for not like reinforcing
Yeah.
their
Yeah, and
blatant.
I'm just saying, I think there's these certain periods in time where there's like it seems like things have changed afterwards. After an event.
Like
or after
because
a
you can
certain
just
time.
as easily say, the race riots of the '60s, Kent State here in the United States. There are all sorts of these timelines. or
2
these
plus 2
events,
still
these-
equals 4, and men were still men, and women were still women.
Yeah. Oh, because you know why? Because you had
And it's nothing
Great.
against that, but it's
no,
just to
but
show
you
how
had
weird
great,
it's got.
You had great propaganda out there, like John over there is a homosexual. Like that. The black and white movies of the homosexual being portrayed as a guy in the white van looking at the kid and all that stuff, and they vilified it back then. But now they don't. Now it's accepted.
Well, and the
And-
thing is that these social movements keep accelerating into
Keep
more.
accelerating, right?
They keep into more extreme realms, right? So if you go back to the '60s, right? What did you have going on then? Well, it was the hippie sort of, flower power, love everyone, sexual revolution thing going on,
Right.
and you had your people back then going, these degenerates, these dirty, things have been turned upside down. The
Right.
social construct is being flipped on
And
its
why?
head. And
Why? Because when you tell humans no, the first thing they want to do is do exactly what you tell them no. That puritanical bullshit doesn't work. Never has, never will.
That's all cool, right? But now we're literally at the point where these movements, as you're calling them, and I agree totally, but now we're at the point where you're changing
this-
your DNA.
this-
You're it's going to a whole level that we've never.
Yeah,
I
right,
can't compare it to
This is-
anything.
this is what it's all led to, right? This is what it's all led to. Like all of those people, I would say the people involved in those movements in the '60s, right? Like your kind of liberal college campuses at the time, fight the man and all of that stuff. That set the stage for what we're seeing now, because all of those people, all of those all of those people within the I don't want to say everybody, right? Because I don't want to lump everybody into it. But a lot of those people that ended up becoming college professors, right? Ended up becoming established within the education system and shaping the curriculum for public education afterwards, right? They were all involved in that movement, right? That sort of revolutionary uprising during the 60s. And I think that was one of the main catalyzing events for sort of the Marxist indoctrination of America. That's when they really got a foothold into our education system and started changing things. And what has that led to? Well, now that's led to Z and they and all of these pronouns.
And they
where-
is the word of the year. Never forget. Never forget that. Scott.
Yeah.
2019, and it was the year that the Society for the Protection Against, or for the Protection of Apostrophes. Let me get it right. They had to close shop this year because everyone's dumbed down that much now. The old apostrophe. Most people don't even know what an apostrophe is anymore, let alone how to use it correctly.
See, people need to think about like these politicians that have been in office for like 40 years or something like that, right? Like Dianne Feinstein or Nancy Pelosi. And, you know, what districts are they representing? Where did they even come from? Well, they all came from that flower power, hippie, revolutionary movement in the 60s, and they ended up becoming politicians, right? They ended up, and so it's those old kind of people that had that mindset back in the day that have been controlling things and shaping society. They've been trying to implement this for decades. You know, this is not like a 5-year plan. This is not like a 2-year plan. This is a decades long plan. And we always talk about that, right, Kev? How they think in blocks of like 50, 100 years.
Yes.
So
multi-generational. They've been putting things in place that they knew that their grandchildren would be finishing.
Yeah, so if you already had the idea that you wanted to shape the education system into a Marxist sort of system, indoctrination system, and you had that plan back in the 60s, you know, how long would it take for that to come to fruition? 30, 40 years? Something like that? You know, G. Edward Griffin's talk with the KGB defector, where he said you needed what, at least two to 3 generations to indoctrinate everybody and to change everything within the education system. So I don't know. I don't even know how I got off on this topic. We kind of deviated, but how do we go from the Higgs boson to this?
Only on the weekend, Scotty, because it's always a weird weekend.
Because the 2012 thing, right, where you
Yeah.
said things seemed different, and
I was going to say, because I came back to that, and that was really weird.
Yeah, we lost Scott down a rabbit hole there, dude. I thought we were going to get the Bavarian. I thought we were going to get the Bavarian Illuminati thrown in there at one point. It was great.
See, this is what happens when you suppress me, Kev.
No, this is what happens when you're sitting there with Christopher Everard, absorbing his knowledge. I love it, dude. We get like Everard, like parrot. Well, it's like you absorb the info, and it's brilliant.
That's a lot of info to absorb.
So yeah, back to the 2012 thing.
Did we die?
Right. Scotty, what we're going to talk about is the Feudal Empire of 1478. Yes.
Indeed.
I'm ready to take notes, Mr. Everard.
I'm telling you, dude. He lives in a castle with cats, and I'm not even lying. He lives in a castle with cats. He's got grimoires all around him.
All day.
Absolutely, dude. One day I was speaking to him. He's like, I was out painting the fence today, Kevin. All I could picture was a big moat, like a moat kind of drawbridge.
Yeah, right. Like one of those cast iron fences.
Yeah, like something out of Game of Thrones with like a dragon sat on the top of it or something, like
Yeah.
trained to eat royal people.
For somebody who's got such a very proper British accent, Everard really does like to drop the F-bomb quite a bit, though.
I love his intro. I love the intro to his show. But he does all the silly wee voices, wee English accents.
Yeah.
Yes, little cup of tea. And Everard. I love him. And of course, you can catch Chris every Sunday on tfrlive.com. Scotty Lopez, he co-hosts with them. And I've been told that Chris doesn't censor Scott like I do. No.
Not at all.
So, will we do it, boys? Will we get into the...
But let me make my point about...
Yeah, we still haven't decided if we died or not.
Go ahead, because we can't go to those... We can't... Yeah, do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Since I got sidetracked, I derailed myself. So, I don't know if you could chalk... I'm not going to go as far as chalking up the 2012 stuff to, like, CERN. I must admit, though, that things do seem a lot weirder, like, after 2012. I just think it has to do with us entering a new age. I think I'm going to go ahead and say I think the entire timeline after 2001 was the beginning of the entering of this new age. You can't just chalk it up to one day where it's just a black and white where you're in this age 2 hours ago. And,
I think we're in transition, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. We're in flux. We're in that state of flux.
Right.
Everything has been liquefied, even what it means to be male and female anymore. Everything's in flux, guys.
Everything's in flux.
Yeah. Everything's fluxed. It's all fluxed. Penis.
I think that area, I think that timeline between 2001 and 2012 was when things started accelerating and that entrance into the new age started to begin, and now we're just we're in bizarro land.
Well, let's take a let's
prove that.
Yeah, we're gonna fire up the TARDIS. Okay, we'll fire up the TARDIS, and we're gonna take a trip back to a time when. Remember when people had photo albums? Remember those things? Remember those things? You used to cringe. Someone's just back from holiday, and you'd be like, "Oh, I need to avoid so and so." Why do you need to avoid them? Because they're going to be taking me around the house, and there'll be tea and showing me all these pictures, and you get it, right? And Joe, you hit me with potentially one of the funniest web pages I have ever had the pleasure of feasting my eyes upon, and we only looked at 2 or 3 of these images.
Yeah, we haven't got to anywhere near what's on this webpage.
I'll let you kind of build it up. I mean, what have you found for us here? Where on your travels of the internet did you come across this little beauty? I know he's muted himself up. You see how he done that? He even took time out to do that there, Scott. See it?
Here I was saying, what could we find for a good list, of whatever. And I was looking for memes to begin with, but then I said, well, let me see if I can find a list of some of the funniest family photos of all time, since it is a video feed that we do. So with
some
that
happy
said,
music.
There we go. We have the 100 funniest family photos of all time by worldwideinterweb.com.
Are we ready? Are you sure you're ready? Okay, here we go. First up. Looking good. Looking quite tame. Looking quite normal, I must admit. Oh. Now it's getting interesting.
What's up with the bananas, dude?
Why did he dress his daughter as a banana?
It's really weird.
I feel for the child in the middle there. Yes,
yeah.
I had that haircut. Thanks, Mum. Yeah, we'll show that again before the end of the stream. But moving on.
I think he's an albino to boot.
Yeah, he looks that way. And that looks like Harry Potter's sister.
Yeah, right.
Banana Potter. Oh, now, when you see the top of this one coming, folks, I mean, this here, I need to stop it there because that's the last point where it looks semi-normal. Here we go. Oh, nice, nice. Is that Batman? Is that Batman he's got? Is this like some kind of like inverse Batman suit he's got on? What is his woman got on? Oh, but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. What's going on here?
And moving on. At what point did anyone think that was a suitable attire for a family photo? Tell me. Can somebody tell me? Now that's a crazy look. Check this dude out. That's a crazy look. What is he doing to her? He looks like he's somebody. You know what that is? That's a photograph that is now being used in a #MeToo court case. He's doing something uncomfortable behind that towel. So? Look. Yeah, look at his face. Either that or she's doing something uncomfortable to him.
I was just gonna say, I think it's the other way around.
Look at the poor child.
I think she's squeezing his nuts.
Child is saying, "Please rescue me."
Look at his face and look at hers. And she's like, "You will not go to the bar after this."
You think so?
Oh yeah, so she's squeezing his nuts right now.
Where do you think she falls on like the hot crazy index?
Oh, that's tough.
That's one for the audience to work out. So now, our personal favourite that we came across is the BTK lookalike.
Yes.
Nothing says I love being a part of this family than a picture like that.
Oh man.
Oh, I present to you the narcissist package, sir.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
The narcissist package. Who is the jerk that came up with the shadow pictures of the 70s?
Somebody who was
the one
real.
with the silhouette in the back.
It was somebody really.
I hated those.
The silhouette always looks like you're crying.
Yeah, the silhouette looks like you're crying or you're ready to jump off a bridge.
It was somebody who was really limited at that version of Photoshop back in the day. They knew about 3 tricks, and it fit all.
He was like Tony Stark's dad. He's like, I'm limited by the technology of my time.
Here we go though. Moving on. Now I haven't seen any of these, I must admit. Oh dang. Dang,
What's
dude.
up with that, man? Where's what's up with that? Where's the man? There is none. It's just like grandma. And all these kids.
Grammy's been busy, right?
All of the kids look absolutely.
Gotta be all the grandkids.
One in the back row looks like he's possibly got 3 names and went on to be famous or infamous later in life. The next one is possibly the most shocked looking man in the world. It's like, dang, dude. Do you think he's married to somebody else and he's thinking while that picture's been taken, holy shimoly, I'm bust. That's the picture of somebody that's caught. Or did he just shart? Maybe he farted and followed through. Maybe. He looks like a man that might be clenching cheeks, right?
He is, and she's
She
like,
smells it. She smells it. Oh, not again, Dad. Oh, nice. Hey, this one actually looks like the BTK.
Yeah.
Nice jackets. Mm-mm.
What's up with that?
Oh,
On a freaking Eskimo sled?
oh, today's social justice warriors would have a field day with this one. Don't let it affect it that it's 20 years old or so.
Has
Yeah.
nothing to do with that.
So scrolling on down. Oh, well, who on earth's name came up with that?
Oh, the one underneath is even worse.
Ah. Okay, we'll just keep scrolling. We'll just unveil them slowly as we go. Oh,
Are
nice.
you serious?
Okie dokie. Dang, dude. Oh, nice matching t-shirts coming up here.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You gotta love that old
Oh,
synchronized.
look at that. Look at that. Look at the freaking vest, dude. Oh, yeah.
I just
That
hope.
looks like the Baker clan right there.
I was about to
right?
say, I just hope none of my old family photos actually scroll into view here. Oh, look at this dude, man. He's got his
Oh my
hand.
God.
He's got his
got the
hand up a
puppet.
toy's ass.
Puppet in the
Penis.
family. Hey. How
I suppose there's
How-
nothing like the doll being a part of the family, Scott.
I was about to say, how disturbing is that when he's like,
It's kind
when
of.
they're like,
Well, I think he was just woke before woke was in.
I mean, can you see the wife getting up? All right, everybody, we're gonna
Oh.
get the we're gonna take our family photo today, and then the
Oh
guy's
dear
like,
lord! Oh, look at this!
Hold on.
Look at that picture. That's somebody. Oh my word! That's somebody's gonna. He's in danger of stabbing himself in the eye with a fork over dinner one night, or she might do it for him. Oh, the brush look. Yeah. Nice.
Wow, look at the 80s metal picture.
Holy heck! Look how
Ooh.
scared they look. Is that a Wookiee he's wearing as a sporran? It better not be. Oh dear, what's going on in the next
What's
one?
going on down there? Wow.
Oh. This is just about 5 seconds before that happens. She says this will hurt you more than it hurts me. Wallop. Oh,
my
dear.
God.
Oh
Look at that.
dear. Another child that looks like it's just dying to escape. Oh dear. Who would do
Oh, my
that?
gosh.
What on earth?
Oh, there they are.
Dang, dude. Oh. Oh, next up. Oh, dearie me.
Oh boy, oh
Is
boy,
that-
look at that.
Is that Tony Blair's wife? Is that like Tony Blair's first wife? Or is that her first marriage? Holy heck.
Oh my God.
Funnily enough, I never seen him modelling for like 501s or anything.
No.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Dang. Cocaine fever. Oh, yeah. Penis. Oh, look at this crew, man.
Wow, that's a good one right there, dude.
Don't
Nice.
call me sir. I'm a ma'am. He looks like a ma'am. I'm sorry.
Oh my
Uh-oh.
God.
Here we go. Ah,
Oh, very cultural.
absolutely. I bet you that girl, when she was growing up dreaming of her big day, it always included a really stupid looking stuffed animal. No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, look at this. Ooh,
Oh.
look at that with the lights and the little stars going on there.
Oh. Dang, dude. Oh, me love you long time. Oh.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, look. This looks like
Oh,
something.
Really nice.
That looks like something out of like a Rothschild family picture or something.
Totally.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh dear.
A Clockwork Orange.
Oh. Holy shimoly.
Wow.
Dang, dude.
What?
No way.
What the hell, man? What is that? I'm speechless. I'm
The next
sorry.
ones have gone full Star Trek. How cool's that? I like that. I like it. Oh, come on. Nothing. Come on. That's funny. No? Not having it? Dang, dude.
Yeah, you would. You would, of course. I've seen worse, we'll put it that way. Like that one.
Oh, dear Lord. What's happening here?
My.
Can somebody explain to me what's actually happening there? All right, I take it. I take it said child usually plays up. That one's thinking, not again. We've got the mum
Yeah.
thinking, oh, here we go. We've got the dad thinking, oh. That's what it is, isn't it? A Charlie Chaplin coming in next, like.
Is that Charlie? Oh, look at that. Oh.
Yeah, she looks absolutely thrilled to be there.
Oh, doesn't she, Josh? Doesn't she?
Oh.
Nothing says I love you quite like yawning during the family
Oh,
photo.
God.
Oh, nice haircut. Holy shimoly! No danger!
Oh no!
Oh, I tell you. some social justice warrior is going to take it upon them to be morally just and fight for justice for that child who didn't consent to looking at that lady garden despite leaving it a year before. Oh no, not a good look.
Nice, very nice indeed. Oh, jeez, a pig pile.
Holy heck.
Oh, let's go the kiss look. Okay. What the hell? Santa just showed up.
Dang, dude.
Oh, and a family full of golf.
Oh no, that's the Adams.
Hanging with a bunch of 90s
Dude,
goth
look-
kids.
Nice hair. Look at
Nice.
that. Look at him. He's a
It's like-
good-looking
Hold
fella.
on, hold that 1 second. Hold that. What was the name of the Adams family butler?
Oh, Lurch, no?
Lurch.
Lurch.
Yeah, Lurch. There he is. I didn't know he was married.
And there's the Adams family there.
And there it is. Yeah, there's the Adams family.
Oh, that child's got. Oh, that's a dodgy haircut.
That is wild.
Whoa.
Look at the big eye. Look at what the freaking. Look at stop. Hold that. Black baby.
Oh.
Black eye.
Don't judge, Joe.
That's the recessive gene.
There's another child. Oh. Dodgy. Oh, dear
Oh, look at
Lord.
this. Dear God. What the heck happened there?
Why would you? Oh, my goodness. Look, oh, dearie me.
Central.
Oh. When will this end?
Wow, if that doesn't say Oklahoma in the 1980s, I don't know.
Look at that
what does.
mobile phone, folks. Look at that. That's how life used to be, yeah?
Very nice, very nice.
Uh-oh. Oh, dearie me.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness gracious.
No. I bet you they were all called babies up until the age of 5.
Up to your right.
Next 50, can we even stomach another 50? We'll scroll down them quicker. The name's bad enough, it's not even loading them up. Uh-oh. No, it's not loading them, guys. I don't know if that's a blessing in disguise or what. I really don't. I truly don't. That was horrendous, Joe. Where do you find these things?
Oh, I've got something there, Kev. Didn't I send you yesterday that one for that radio station? Did you listen to that?
No?
Okay, hold on
Oh,
one second.
I know the one you mean, but you'll need to find it.
I'm gonna find it while you're talking, so you just go ahead. I'm gonna.
I think people enjoyed seeing that
I
that
did too.
crew there. Yeah, that went down well. Yeah. Not the kind of photos you'd be carrying around in your wallet to show people, I wouldn't think. But if you're that kind of person that would take that photo, then surely you would, right? Imagine somebody showed you that one in work, Scott, or something, them all naked piled on one another. Oh, nice pic, mate.
If you had
Here you
the-
go. Here you go. That's for
Clown. That's why I love you. Just. So are we all going to be back tomorrow, boys, for
absolutely
another weird weekend? I think this is what we call it now. It's just KBS Weird Weekend. The 3 horsemen of the apocalypse, and who knows what happened to the 4th one. He identified as something else now.
something else.
Yeah. That us then?
I think so.
I was
And,
waiting for... Yes, Mr. Scott.
I was to say, if I'm not there tomorrow, it'll be because I'm doing the PC upgrade. I didn't have a chance to do it today, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I might be there, I might not. It's 50-50 shot, but we'll see.
And of course, folks, I'll be back tomorrow afternoon for a members-only chat stream. So anyone can come along and watch the stream. But if you want to participate with all of the crazy great people in the chat room, please, please, please consider becoming a Christmas. Maybe, with Christmas, becoming a member. And maybe
Yeah, I
with
was gonna say,
Christmas...
what are you talking about?
Dude, in my head, it was all sounding good. But maybe with Christmas around the corner, maybe you want to get one of your friends a membership. Either way, we will welcome you here tomorrow afternoon. And then tomorrow night, it'll be all open again. Everyone can chat. And I think we'll find some more lists of crazy things and a little bit of woo. We need some woo, Joe. We need some Carmel Main, some Shadow Dude or something, man. And some
I'm all
tech.
for it.
We haven't looked at tech in a while, guys. We haven't done a proper serious look at tech. We'll need to do that on KBS one night soon. Because there's a lot of new stuff out there I'd like to get your kind of thoughts on, and a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in tech that I think we need to just kind of touch base and
And I've got
that.
the programmer guy, the roboticist, Andrew. He's going to be coming on soon. I've still got to send him a date and things, but yeah, I think he sent me through one of his papers that he wrote to become a PhD. So I'm looking forward to reading that. I'll sit down and read that tomorrow. But Joe, it's going to be good to get somebody who's enthusiastic, who's in the world of technology, right? The cutting edge of robots and AI.
So. Yeah.
Because we always hear the negatives, dude. We always hear it. And the negatives don't go away. But it's good to take a look at all sides of things, right? That's the way I think, anyway. No matter what the topic is.
I like looking at it from a glass is half full perspective anyway, so.
Exactly, dude.
You got to look at the positive just as much as the negative.
Exactly. And if you're wanting that glass half empty, folks, you don't have to look far on YouTube. So we try and do it a bit different here. We try and do it with a smile on our face. And we tell you and we encourage you to keep your mind open, keep looking for woo, but not to the point where your mind turns to black goo. We're out of here, guys. Boom.
I shared a bathroom with one other guy, and we actually had separate rooms on either side of the bathroom. With that kind of privacy, I could have a lot of loud sex. And I did. One night I was sitting on the edge of my bed, with my girlfriend's